Welcome to the Blaize interviews. My name is Blaize, and today we have
Joey Massaro.
Thank you, Joey. So you're the first one of the 2024 year, and as you can see, we're still in the middle of the rebuilding process.
Hell yeah.
So
dude.
thank you for being blessing us with your presence. And so the first question I always like to ask people when they come on is, how did you get into comedy?
Oh man, how did I get into comedy? So I got into comedy right after high school.
Oh shit.
Pretty much, I went to community college, and I didn't do shit in high school but smoke a bunch of weed. So I really was like, I was in community college. I was kind of depressed. I was like, what am I going to do? I think I talked to my sister about it, and she's like, you always want to do stand-up. You've done stand-up, like, all randomly in talent shows and shit.
Okay.
And I was like, all right. I just went to the first comedy club that I saw in Jersey, which was the Stress Factory. Started doing open mics there. I used to drive in the city all the time in New York. Did a bunch of hell shit bringer shows and stuff like that. You know, begging my friends and cousins to come see me so I get stage time.
Yeah. You still got to do that here in LA.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, yeah, you got to do some bringer shows and stuff like that. I feel like here, though, it's more... I found I was able to kind of skip that a little bit. Like, I just because starting in New York, you kind of realize, all right, this is going to suck. So, like, try to find somewhere where it's like, number one, you don't got to pay to go up.
Yes, true.
And then number two is just like find somewhere where it's like, hey, if you're funny, they'll let you get stage time. Even if it's not like a big club or anything, even if it's like a cafe or a bar or something, you know what I mean? Like the Barclay. It's like...
I love the Barclay.
Dude, it's like you can go there, you get comics, you get some audience too sometimes, and you can just riff. Try new shit, you can work on your 5 minutes. That's like the best thing to do.
I was like, because Ruben always comes up with some dark ass shit.
Yeah.
So he usually goes up early, and so he usually sets the bar down here with all that shit.
Goes blue immediately, and then you're just like, all right, now this pedophile bit I've been working on isn't even going to sound so bad.
Compared to this motherfucker.
Yeah. But that's like kind of a perfect example. It's like he can go up, and it's like, all right, I got to just try this. This is probably not going to sound good, but the only way to get better is you got to go up and say it first, and then you're like, all right, now let me listen to it again, and let me work on it, see if there's anything there, or if this is just a big pile of shit.
So you said you started out doing stand-up in high school. Like, when was your first, like, stand-up then? Because that's like, very important.
Yeah, so, in high school, the first time I ever, like, went to, like, I did, like, an open mic was after high school, but, like, I used to do, like, random stuff, like a talent show. I'd go up there, and I would do some jokes. I probably ripped off, like, David Spade jokes. Something, like, real bad, you know what I mean?
So you didn't even, like, make up your own jokes at first?
I think I had a couple jokes myself. I didn't even know what I was doing, but all I was trying to do was get my friends to laugh. That's, like, literally all I did. Any sport I ever played is all I want to do is, like, the bus ride is, like, kill on the bus ride. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing of, like, any kind of interaction I've ever had, especially with, like, I wrestled my whole life, and, like, I probably won fucking 20 matches in, like, 13 years of fucking wrestling. But, like, I'd be like, dude, I can remember every time I'm like, oh, man, dude, I remember we wrestled this team. I fucking murdered on the bus, dude.
Yeah.
I fucking killed on the bus.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to kill on the bus. He's on the mat.
Yeah, dude. I'm going to get fucking pinned in 10 seconds. I'm going to murder this bus ride.
Bitch. Actually, I actually wrestled in high school, too.
Did you really?
And so, you know, on, like, the tournaments, how you have, like, they put you on the chute.
Yeah,
and they pair you up, and, like, everyone's like, and listen to their music. I would just start talking.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, man, how you doing? And I start yawning in their face. Like, pretend yawning. And so I start pretend yawning. And I'm like, hey, man, so this is what's going to happen. We're going to go good for 2.5 rounds. And then you're going to take a dive, right? You're just going to fall down. And so I'll just try and psych them up. And then some motherfuckers be like... They're like not falling for it, and then you get the one laugh, and it's like, "Oh, I got you, motherfucker!" And then you try and get other people involved.
Right.
So that was my one of mine was I wasn't a bus guy. I was more like, I'm gonna get him on the shoot,
just to fuck him, dude. That is so funny you say that. I remember like when I was wrestling, like if it's like you like second period, like bottom or something like that, like right before the right blow the whistle, I would just say something like so fucking dumb, like like I'd be like, I think I see your mom giving like a hand job, or like, or like I would say something, be like, I got my girlfriend pregnant, I don't know what I'm gonna do, and they just be like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? And it was just like I like try to fight me or something like that, or try to yell something back at me in front of the ref, and I'd be like, I don't know what he's talking about.
What was he talking about, ref?
Yeah,
I had who was it? I know in high school, it was freshman year in high school, I also played football.
Yeah.
And so we were playing Long Beach Poly. which is not that good, but way better than us. They had the whole offensive line was just 6'2", 6'3", 300 pound Samoans.
Yeah, so my height.
Yeah, and then there's people like you and me. Like, we're not doing that good. My school was pretty much just all Asians and white middle class.
Yeah.
So we got our ass kicked. You know what I mean? All my 4 years. So they get in the position. The first play, offensive line, they go, ugh. I want some tacos. And you're like, the fuck? Yeah. And so the whole game, they're just talking about food and shit. And so the point was just like, man, I don't want that kind of shit. Like, we're just, at the point we're getting ass beat so bad. Like,
they're just like thinking of their meal, dude. They're like, fuck this, dude. This isn't even going to work out for us.
That's how it is, though, when you're playing sports. Because, like, I got my ass kicked so many times in wrestling.
Yeah.
I got in trouble in wrestling because I was it's not that I hated it, but I hated it.
Yeah.
I just did it because it was something to do during the off season for football.
Right.
And I would get in fights with all the teammates because I didn't need a cut. I was wrestling 189s weighing 170.
Oh shit.
And so my mom would come off and she would literally drop off like fried chicken. Steak.
Did you eat it for everyone?
No, not even just for me.
Oh yeah.
Just for me. And so I would get, especially during the match, I would get the fried chicken. I'd go right into the locker room and I'd sit right next to the weigh-in,
just eating in front of all those dudes.
Eating. Oh, and there's dudes just sitting there just looking at you just...
Yeah, dude. That's the worst part of the whole sport is cutting weight. I remember, like, I have, like, a big Italian family, and just, like, my mom would just be, like, devastated because she'd make, like, chicken cutlets and pasta, and I'd be like, I'll eat this, and then you have to cut off my fucking leg so I can weigh it. You know? But, dude, I remember there was a dude it was like the heavyweight where he's like, he didn't have to cut weight or anything like that. And, dude, he lived a life, man.
Oh, it's the best. This is the best. When you don't have to cut weight, I only had to cut weight one time, and that was my first match freshman year.
Yeah. After
that, I never had to cut weight again.
Yeah.
I would say the best memory I have of wrestling is freshman year. It was one of the freshman tournaments, the dual meet tournaments.
Yeah.
I was the only one in my weight class, and I got the gold medal because of the
that's the best.
Yeah,
it was a forfeit.
Yeah, it was like 2-2, so it was like 4 teams all together. Yeah. So I got the gold medal, so I was like, fuck it.
Dude, we had this is like a legendary fucking story in my high school. We had this kid that we went to school with, right? His name was Carr, and like I think he was a little slow. You ever meet those kids where you're just like, I don't know if he's slow or his parents just like kind of smoke or drank when he was like pregnant with them. Like something's up with that. But like we were all like, everybody who wrestled in my high school, they were all like, we smoked weed and like vandalized houses. Like, it was like the most just like savage fucking people ever, And like they weren't like jocks, they were just like kind of burnouts. And I remember this kid, right? So like we wrestled like junior varsity, like I think my freshman year. And they paired you up with somebody, they paired you up. So the coach paired Carr up with somebody. He said, Carr, you got a match. First match ever. His dad's in the audience, and he's like crying. He's so nervous, dude. And we're psyching up. We're like, Carr, you walk out on that fucking mat, dude. You just bury that fucking kid, man. You just don't even think about it. And he's beat red. He's pumped up. He's like ready to go, right? And we're clapping up. The kid they send out is legit like a kid who's got like cerebral palsy or whatever. And we're just like the claps just die, and we're just like, what the fuck, and it, dude, you could hear a fucking pin drop, and everyone's had like those matches where it's like, yo, if you're gonna win the match, win it, but maybe let the kid win, like it doesn't really matter.
Give him a point,
dude. The ref blew the whistle, and Carr took this kid down so fucking quick and pinned him, and it was just silence, dude. And all of a sudden, you just heard the ref hit the pin, and just his dad go, yeah, Carr won. And it was just like, and the kid comes up like happy as hell, shakes his hand, shakes it, go, we're like, great match, dude. He walks up and we're just like, Carr's like, I got him. We're like, oh, you got him, bud. He might just go to hell.
He probably is. Is. Yeah. But you know what? Is it not kind of an even playing field?
A little bit. I don't know.
I'm not even going to say like it's fucked up because, we all have those kids who are slow and they're on the wrestling team. Yeah. Like, motherfuckers, the old saying is they got that retard strength.
Yeah. That was Carr. Carr had that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's had another kid in our school. He had that motherfucker. He smelled the worst.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Nobody wanted to wrestle him, and so I was an asshole too. Yeah. I never wanted to shoot.
Oh yeah.
I was the one. I would just throw people. All I cared about was just throwing people. So I wouldn't practice offense at all.
Right.
I just practiced sprawling, crossfade, and just throwing people.
Oh yeah, it's all I do the crossface all the fucking time.
Fucking love the crossfade.
Yeah.
But this dude, he was like, alright, let's do it, and he would just fucking fling me.
Yeah.
And he's like, are you alright? I'm like, yeah, I'm alright, man. No, but I love it's a love-hate relationship with wrestling.
Yeah,
honestly.
I'm happy I did it too because it's like. I don't know what. It's just like I did it so long that like any type of like altercation, my mind just goes back to that thing. And, like you just kind of like remember like, oh shit, just like to take somebody down or like just to fight their hands or something like that. So it's like
because most fights in like amateur fights, they all end up turning to wrestling.
Yeah.
Very rarely is you just like boxing.
Oh, dude! Anytime there was a fight, anytime I've ever seen a fight, it always ends up on the ground. And it's like when I was growing up, not a lot of people did like jiu-jitsu. Now I feel like everybody knows how to do fucking jiu-jitsu.
I blame Rogan.
Yeah, dude, seriously, it really is that. Like, I feel like him and like all like the 10th Planet, like all those huge jiu-jitsu gyms that opened up, dude. It's like everybody and their mother like would be like, oh, dude, I'll fucking get this guy in my guard and just fucking break his neck or some shit.
I feel that because my nephew's in jiu-jitsu and I'm like, he could already take me down.
Yeah,
he's only like he's only 11. He's motherfucking take my leg out. I'm like, oh fuck.
That's what I was telling my nephews. I was like, dude, you guys should get in jiu-jitsu like right now, dude, and just start submitting people.
Yeah, because that's what's gonna happen. You just get someone in the armbar and they're gonna tap out and they're gonna walk away with their fucking dick between their ass.
I told him, I said, stop going to protests and then just fucking start doing jiu-jitsu.
If anything, boxing is good too. The only thing is, I just don't like how it fucks up my hands.
Yeah, boxing, yeah.
Because boxing fucks up your hand. But then, so you started straight out of high school comedy.
So I started comedy right out of high school.
Do you remember your first set when you went up there?
Oh man, yeah, I remember. I remember my first set. I went up the Stress Factory and I did the tip. Here's a funny story, man. So I was gonna go to this bar that did open mics, right? And that was gonna be the first time I did comedy. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to this bar. It's in my town. They have an open mic night. I'm gonna go. I go, and there's like 30 cops just like around the bar sealed off. I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? And I'm like, what's going on, man? And there's like a barricade, and they're like, some guy like has got a machete, and he's like inside the bar, and he's like freaking out. I'm like, is it? And I was like, my first thing was like, so is the open mic like canceled? And they're like, I think it's closed, man. So I was like, all right. So that was the first time I tried. Then I drove to New Brunswick. I went to the Stress Factory. I did the typical thing of, it's my first time doing comedy. Probably going to last the same time I had sex. Some stupid shit like that. I feel like every time, like when I first started, I still do this now. I feel like it's just always talking about like myself or my life or like introspective, like kind of thing. Like that's always been like kind of my vibe, like of comedy, I love the people that can go up there and just like do comedy and like you don't even know who they are. And they're just like throwing like joke after joke out there. Yeah. And you're just like, oh wow. But like for me, I just need to like talk about like myself. I don't know why.
I feel that. I feel like a lot of people draw from that like personal experience, and they feel like because there's always the things like be you, and it's personable, and people connect with that. Yeah. And so, did you take any classes when you first started, or?
No, I didn't take any classes. I started doing the open mics at the Stress Factory. I started driving the city and doing that. Now, where I'm from in New Jersey, like Asbury Park, it's got like a booming comedy scene. And then my whole thing was like I said, I was in community college, and my whole goal was like, all right, I'm gonna get my shit together. I'm gonna go to a real college. I'm gonna go to that was my whole thing. And I kept doing stand up too, and I really started like loving stand up. I got accepted to like South Carolina, University of South Carolina. So I was like, fuck, man, there's gonna be like no comedy down there, and like I couldn't be more wrong. It was like a whole scene. It was like all these road dogs that like were the funniest comics you've ever seen, and they were just bouncing from like Knoxville, Charleston, like in like Georgia, like in Athens, Atlanta. Yeah. And like I just started doing that. I just started going like I started in this bar called the Red Door in Columbia, South Carolina, which just
started a bar? Like
no, I started in a bar.
Okay.
Like they did like comedy there.
Okay.
And that was like the comedy club, I guess, down there.
Yeah.
And dude, it was like a bunch of savages, dude. Like they were so funny. One of my best friends too, I probably don't even talk to her enough now, but like Jen Snyder, like look up Jen Snyder. She is one of the funniest fucking stand-ups like ever, and just a killer on the road. You know what I mean? Just with like her, Wayne Cousins, Topher Riddle, they were all like just hilarious, and they were all different. Like they weren't like all like edgy like they were all completely different. But like I cut my teeth down there, and like that was like the biggest like oh shit, like this is the best shit I could have ever done.
Okay. So what's the difference between like New York, Jersey, and like South Carolina? Like how is it different that you felt like you cut your teeth better out there, or that's how you matured?
I felt like well, if you go up to New York and stuff like that, it's here, so it's very competitive for stage time. So down there, it's like there's more stage time and less comics, and it was also more so of like okay, I can do like 3 spots like during the week, and then I can go on the weekend and get booked on a show like in Charleston, in like outside of Columbia, some shit bar somewhere, in like Spartanburg or like Goose Creek or something like that, and like there was these weird bookers that like would be like, hey, like I have a restaurant and we have a room for like comedy, like can you come and do like 20 minutes, a half hour, like so like you get like a lot of time doing it, you know what I mean? And like you're like, oh wow, I could really work out material here. Jersey, you can do the same thing. The one thing I'll say about New Jersey is like New Jersey is the best spot because you cannot pander to like anybody. Like everybody in New Jersey hates everybody. So like there's no like one-sided thing. Like New York, LA, like you say like the wrong thing and like the crowd immediately turns on you. But like New Jersey is just like, you know, you can say something about like abortion and like half the room is for it, half the room's against it. So like you just got to be funny. Yeah. Like no matter what it is, you just got to be fucking funny.
Yeah. The thing is like, especially like West Hollywood and all that area. Yeah. That area is very, very liberal. But you know, I talked to a few comics, especially if they go down to Orange County. Yeah. They're like,
oh, yeah.
It's so much different.
Yeah, dude.
I always like to say, people forget how Southern California is.
Dude, yeah.
Until they go to Orange County.
Yeah.
Like, that's like Trump land right there.
Oh, yeah, dude, yeah.
I love it. So, have you performed in Orange County?
I've not performed in Orange County. I performed, let's see, I performed the other way in, like, by Petaluma.
Okay.
And, like, kind of, like, over there in, like, the North Cali area, which, like, a couple of those towns, too, are just, like, they don't give a fuck either. They're just
especially like once you get out of the Bay. Like when you're in San Francisco, San Francisco is still kind of liberal. But it's a little bit changing now, especially since a lot of people are leaving there.
Right.
But once you're outside of the Bay, like Stockton, Sacramento,
dude.
you're really fucking with some blue collar motherfuckers out there.
Yeah, dude. You can say anything out there.
Yeah, those motherfuckers don't give a shit.
They don't. Yeah.
So when you go to like mics and show, what is it that you look for in a mic?
What do I look for in a mic? I mean, honestly, the best things are this. It's like the mics that suck are when it's like 10 comics, everyone's looking down their phone, no one's paying attention, everyone's just trying to go up there and say something, and it's like, and then they're bitching because they're like, hey, no one's paying attention to me, but it's like you didn't pay attention to any of the comics.
Yeah.
The things that I love in a mic is I love when like even if it's full of comics, everyone's engaged, everyone's fucking watching. I love a little chaos in it, dude. You know, like I don't mind sometimes if people are calling out, if it's not like you're not like heckling or anything like that, but like honestly, any mic that's free is awesome, and any mic that's just like, hey, like Third Wheel does like all these like wacky variety type mics and stuff like that, and like it keeps it fun, it keeps it fresh.
Into the Jenga mic.
The Jenga mic, they do like what's the other one tonight? The Tarot. You'll do like a tarot card reading, and then you get 7 minutes on stage. And it's like awesome. It's like
I haven't done the tarot card reading though.
Tonight I think I'm gonna go. I mean, dude, they are like so good because it's like you can go up there, you can riff on like a bunch of stuff, right? So you're working that muscle out, and then you like have your own stuff to do, like whatever you want to work on.
Yeah.
You know, any mic that polices the room, I think is like dog shit. Like if you're like, hey, you can't say that or anything like that. I mean, unless you're just up there fucking, you know, just screaming the N-word with no joke at all.
Or just being like stupid.
Yeah, just trying to do some shock humor. But I feel like someone who's doing that, they're not gonna get any laughs, and they're gonna eventually be like, "What the fuck am I doing?"
I've been there with like someone was like making a joke. It was right after the Uvalde's Texas shooting, and he went up there just doing nothing but just Uvalde Texas shootings. Yeah, and the people in the crowd, like 2 people left, and they're like, "School shootings isn't fun." Yeah, and I was like, "Okay." Like, there's been times where like shit like that will happen. And it like sucks the entire energy of the room. Yeah, and it's just like everyone's just looking at each other like.
That's the fucking worst, man.
So what are some times where you had to like dig out of that hole? Because we all have been up there and be bombed.
Oh man, I think the best thing you can do is like if you say something like that just gets nothing, you gotta acknowledge it. You can't just move on, man. Like if you say something that kind of really sucks the whole air out of the room, you can't just be like, so my mom. You know what I mean? Like you have to like acknowledge the bomb, try to riff off it. You know what I mean? And then just like move on to like your next thing.
I feel I've asked a few comments to this question is like, when I bomb, I have 2 options. Either A, stick to my material, or B, fuck it and say, hey, so I'm bombing here. Yeah. So you're in the aspect more of like, fuck it, just like acknowledge the bomb?
Acknowledge your bomb and then try to move on to your next stuff. But I mean, some audience just suck. Never be afraid to blame the audience.
I hate that. It's like you guys are a horrible audience, isn't that?
Yeah.
Just say, all right, I guess that one didn't work.
Well, the worst part to do that if you're a horrible audience and they laughed at every other comic but you. You're you're actually a great fucking audience. You just suck. But no, I think you gotta I mean, if every comic is going up there that you think is funny and they're bombing, it's like, oh yeah, okay, maybe this audience does suck. But at the same time, it's like, you just do your shit, try to turn them around. Yeah. You know? I feel like, too, if it doesn't work, if you try to do some crowd work and get them, because some people are like, you get those audience where they're like, hey, man, you were super funny, and you're just like, dude, you sat there with your arms crossed, you didn't laugh at anything. And they're like, oh, I don't really laugh out loud. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know?
I've seen guys, some are huffers.
Yeah.
I see huffers.
Yeah.
I look for huffers in the crowd.
Oh, my God, dude.
Those are the worst. When you see them, their arms crossed and you can't hear them laugh.
Yeah.
I like it. I do like a clap, though. When I get a clap, a clap's a good one.
Yeah.
I say, but even if they repeat the line that I just said,
yeah,
like they repeat, it's like potatoes. Oh, he said potatoes.
Yeah. That's always the funniest shit, dude. When they do that, when they're like repeating it and then like telling their friend what you just said, and it's like, did he not just hear what the fuck? that is always the funniest thing. I think it's always funny too when like somebody's talking and you're like, you have to make the decision of like, do I like hammer this guy or like do I like just try to? Because the thing is like when someone's like heckling you versus like someone's talking a thing, it's like, I gotta tell them to like kind of shut the fuck up, but like keep the audience on my side. You know what I mean? So I can't like pick on them too much.
Have you ever seen the one where the guy raised their hand?
Oh, dude, that happened to me. I like the Barkley.
What did he ask?
It was a woman, and
yeah.
And I think I posted this too. It was a woman, and it was actually funny. She was actually wearing like a mask in like a thing of like 50 people, and then she just goes like, I was making a joke about Biden saying he's the first president that like cannot physically fuck. And I said like something like his wife he can't have sex. His wife went back to school to teach. Like she's the first lady and she's going back to teach. And she was like, what is she teaching? What is she teaching? I want to. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, lady? Yeah. And then I think I just was like, she's teaching how to be quiet during a live performance, like some shit like that. But like, yeah, dude, that's what I love when they're just like, oh, what's this?
Yeah, this is kind of like, just shut up and watch the show, bitch.
I did another. I actually had a show recently in Jersey, and what was it? I was in the middle of like my closing joke, and it was about like being dyslexic. And I was just like saying something, and then the guy like raised his hand, like whoever I'm talking about, joke. He goes, "Oh, is he a doctor?" And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about, man?"
Yeah, he's like, listen to the fucking joke and you figure it out.
Like, you're about to hear it, dude. It's like watching a movie with your girlfriend. She's just like, "Is this guy about to die?" You're like, "I know as much as you. We're about to find out.
Let's see what happens."
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he died. Thank you for fucking solving your own question.
Yeah.
No, all right, but then like with that and the writing process. What is your writing process when you try and come up with jokes?
Oh, what is my writing process? My thing is usually if I always just throw it down the notes. Sometimes I'll record myself saying something, and then you just gotta go on a mic and try it. Yeah. That my whole thing with writing is like I literally throw down like an idea, and then I go on stage and riff on it, and then once I've done it in front of people, that's when I really like build on it and work on it. You know, I feel like anytime you take time off from doing comedy, your brain gets a little like kind of like stale and like the creative thing. I think when you're like hitting mics and shows and doing like a real thing of it, like the wheels turning, like you really get into like a good flow. That's why like Third Wheel's good because like you can do like 3 mics in a row, not leaving there, and they're all free. And you're like, okay, this is awesome. Like I just had 5 minutes. I just ran it 3 times in a row, and now I can like completely build off it.
Yeah, so you're one of those comics. Oh, it's different because like some comics will bounce from place to place, club to club. Yeah. So you like to say like the 3 comics a night kind of guy.
I like to do that. If I'm in that area, I'll do that. New York, I used to be able to bounce around. Here, it's like tough to do that. Like
because you got to drive.
You got to drive all over. So that's why it's like if you're in that area, it's maybe a little easier. You can do there and then bounce to a couple other spots. But I like to do that and then like try to get up on potluck at like the Comedy Store and then just like all right, if I didn't get on there, just bounce over on Mondays, do a spot.
Yeah, I get that. I just don't like to doing like those midnight mics.
Oh, midnight ones are brutal because you're only getting 3 minutes and you're just going boom, boom.
And you're already exhausted from the day. Yeah. That's why I don't like midnight mics. At most, I like to do like a 9 p.m. mic. Yeah. Be done by like 11. Yeah. Be done by midnight. But other than that, like I'm not staying past midnight because it's not worth it.
Dude, I used to have to do like the when I was a PA. I used to do the PA shit, and then like I'd be getting up at like 6 in the morning, be done by like 10 at night, and then be like, all right, let me go hit up like a midnight mic or something for 3 minutes, and it's just like, maybe I should just crash my car into a pole. Like, this is like the fucking work. Because like the worst thing is like I'm dead from fucking working all day as a fucking PA. So I'm fucking literally taking out garbages and getting coffees and fucking
getting yelled at.
Yeah, getting yelled at, ready to kill myself. And then I fucking go up to a mic. Let me go fucking riff on this, eat my dick for 3 minutes, and then just drive home with no radio, listening to the fucking wind. It's the most depressing thing ever.
Do you finally got a radio?
No, it's not even like I don't have a radio. It's just like, when you're so sad, you're like, I don't even want to listen to fucking music.
It'd be even worse if you didn't have a radio.
Yeah,
It got jacked.
yeah.
That was the first day I was in LA. Radio got took.
Dude, that's so a funny story enough. I did a mic down in Melrose. Same shit. I came off. I was done with work. Went and did the mic. Tried some shit, sucked, came back, my window was smashed, my book bag was stolen. I was like, God fucking damn it, dude.
Oh, fuck, man.
Oh, dude, it was brutal, man.
Oh, that's the worst.
That was a rough one.
That was like your first like week or so, the first month?
No, I was here for probably like 2 years after that. Like already.
Before that,
two years,
okay. So when did you first move from the East Coast out to here? So you went to graduate from college?
Yeah, so I graduated from college, I went back home.
What'd you graduate with?
My degree was like history and education. Yeah. Real fucking useless.
He's pretty much basically you're just gonna be a teacher or Indiana Jones.
Oh my god, dude, are you kidding me? Yeah, teaching is like I was doing student teaching and I was like, this is fucking brutal. This like I had no problem being a teacher, but I was just like, oh man, this is it. Like 23, I just do this forever.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck am I gonna do? I'm gonna be hoping somebody shoots up this fucking school and fucking take me out. But no, I did. I went back home. I was working in like a warehouse. I was living with my parents, so I was saving up money. A lot of my friends from college like moved out here, and they were trying to do film. A couple of them were comedians, and I was like, all right, I'm always gonna be from the East Coast. I made like those are all like some of my best friends like doing comedy with. I'll go out here and just see what it's like out here, and then and that was it, And then I just I met my wife, so her whole family's out here.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's good. It's good. But I'm at the point too where I go back just as much as I'm out here too. So every time I'm out back home, I'm always getting like I can get thrown up on shows and stuff like that, which is sick, man. So yeah, all the dudes really look out for me, which I really appreciate.
So when you first came out here, your first goal was just to get into comedy, or was it get to action?
I tried like I was like, all right, there's like acting, there's all that stuff to do. I did that. I had like a commercial agent.
Oh, nice.
I just fucking hate the whole like you go up and you're just you gotta like be this fucking smiley fucking guy for like trying to sell like toothpaste or some shit. It's not even something you want to do, and then you're just like all right, like no, and you're just kind of like, all right, I'm not really feeling like I'm being creative at all. So then it was more so of like, all right, like stand up is just what I focused on.
Okay. Once again, I'm going back because a lot of people do classes, improv.
Yeah.
Did you do any of those like when you came before? After?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I did. I did like my friend was doing the growlings, so I did.
The cult.
Yep. And I did that, and I was like, all right. I did that for like 3 things, like back and forth, and I was just like, what the fuck's the point of doing this shit? I was like, I'm not even. This isn't even like fun for me. I mean, it was cool, like just to be creative a little bit, but I was like, the improv zip zap zop kind of fucking that makes me kind of want to kill myself.
A lot of things make you want to kill yourself.
Yeah, you know what? I really need to talk to somebody.
He's remember. Tension results.
Tension results.
Tension
Yeah,
results.
there you go.
So you were doing the growlings, and what did you learn from that?
That I hate improv. Nah, what did I learn from it?
Well, that's a fair assessment. Improv is a very niche thing. Like once you're out of the cult of improv, you're like, God, it's like Scientology almost. Yeah. That's why a lot of improv is Scientologist.
I think the big thing though that I did like is like when I would see their shows and stuff like that, it's like it's so dialogue heavy and like not even improv shows, like the sketches they put on where I was like, oh wow. If you wanted to film that, it costs like no money to film it. You know what I mean? You could film that super easy, throw it online, just try to get like hits and stuff like that. Like that's the one thing that I kind of like looked at it where I was like, oh wow, this is like you don't need like a huge fucking production for something to be like absolutely hilarious.
Case in point, motherfucker. Yeah. I'm just trying to do the best I can with the little I got. That's the least you can ask for, right?
That is true, but you gotta try. You gotta start somewhere, man.
I always said if you don't do some. What's the point?
What's the point?
Yeah, because like you say, oh, I want to do this. I want to do this. I have a lot of friends. I had one friend. I would always get mad at him because he would say, I want to shoot these types of things, and he'd like, I want to make music videos.
Yeah.
And I was, because through Baca, I was, Young Baca.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so through Young Baca, I met a few rappers, and
Yeah.
I showed him some of his, like, he made some of his music videos on his own, so, like, through other songs and artists, and I showed him the shit that he made, and like, oh, that shit's great, I love the way he's doing it, and I sent me his information, so I sent him his information, and then I talked to my roommates 2 days later, and he's like, hey man, do you know what happened with that shit? He's like, oh yeah, I just didn't want to do it because it wasn't my idea. I hate people when it's like they won't do something because it wasn't their idea.
Yeah, you gotta be able to, like, if you want to break into anything, you gotta be able to kind of adapt a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same thing like stand up. It's people go like, oh man, I wish I could do stand up, and I was like, go do stand up. Go up to an open mic and do it. Like, the whole thing of comedy too is like, you start out, it's like when you do bomb, when you do that, it's like going back up there. Some people, it's like, I can never, like talking in public is like the scariest thing. So then when they bomb, they're like, I'll never do that again.
Shut down.
Yeah, they shut. I had to. So we ran a show in South Carolina. Me and this other comic. His name was Joe Conklin. He unfortunately passed away, but he's fucking absolutely hilarious. One of my best friends, dude. Funniest dude in comedy. Packed out the place. This guy shows up, brings like 30 people because he thought it was open mic night. And like the owner of the bar was like, hey, listen, this guy bought like 30 people, man. They're all like, they want to buy tickets. Like, we can put extra chairs here. Like, like if you give him 5 minutes, can you get? And we're like, fuck it, sure. We'll give him 5
30
minutes.
people? Fuck
oh my god, dude. Yeah, he brought like his whole family, dude. So he goes up there, does a typical thing of like a bunch of inside jokes nobody else gets, but his whole family's like loving it. And laughing, so he's like killing. So he feels great. And we do a show. They're all great too. They loved it. And comes up, he's like, man, I really want to do this. That was my first time. Where do you guys go? Like, you guys are funny. Like where should I? And we're like, come here to this grunge bar called fucking New Brooklyn, that's where we go on Mondays, and then we go to another bar called like Art Bar on like Tuesdays, right? And there's like there's mics and
the schedule.
Yeah.
Give him the schedule.
I give him the whole thing, right? And goes to New Brooklyn, dude, which is like probably 30 people with misfit tattoos, and just fucking like which is great though, because like if you kill there, you're pretty much, you can bounce anywhere, This guy goes up there, eats his dick, like completely bad, and I was just like, "Hey man," I was like, tomorrow's Tuesday. He's like, I don't think I'm gonna go. I don't think I'm gonna go Tuesday, and never saw him again. Oh, but it was just like, all right.
I hate to see it.
I hate to see it, but it kind of weeds out. Like, it's like it is a fucking grind and a motherfucker.
I always say it's like because I have a lot of sayings when it comes to comedy. It's like it's a contact sport.
Yeah.
I mean, because it is, you got to go out there and you got to eat shit.
Yeah.
And it's like like the closest thing to football that I've ever been in. You got to get in there. You got to practice. Because did you ever play?
Yeah, I played football.
Yeah, so like
you got to put pads on. You actually have to tackle and
hit. You got to hit. And it's like, especially when you're playing like offense, it's like it's kind of a dance. Everyone's blocking down.
Yeah.
Running back hits the hole and then boom, 75-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
That's like the same thing with comedy. You set up punchline.
Yeah.
75-yard, 75,000 people laughing.
It is a thing though. It is like a spell almost, because you're just like, I know, like, if I do this in this cadence, I'm gonna get a fucking laugh. Mm-hmm. You have those jokes that are like, this will work.
I always say that too, because I always have to pause. I always have to say, pause. I have to force myself to pause.
Yeah. That's like the whole thing of just going up as much as you can. Then you get like that flow. You know what I mean? And like how you kind of said it's a contact sport. It is true, because it's like if you wanted to play the guitar, you could sit here all day and you could practice the guitar. Mm-hmm. You can practice it until you get good, and then go out in front of people. Comedy, you can't do anything until you go out in front of people. Like, if you got to try it, you got to go out there and see if it's going to work. Anybody can be at a table with their friends in a bar and just murder the whole thing. People can be hilarious online, dude. So many people aren't comics on like Twitter and Instagram, and they're just put like the funniest shit, just the comments and stuff like that. And shit. Yeah, memes and just people in general, just like. But then when they're like, in front of people with a microphone, it's like, it's a different animal to like get behind that, I
had another guest, and his name's Brian Ross. He said it's the only art form where people see you climb from the mountaintop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you gotta crawl on your belly on the mountain, up the mountain, and they see you pushing and climbing up that mountain.
Yeah.
Whereas with other art forms, like you said, the guitar is you climb the mountain in secret. and then once you get to the mountaintop, you bring it down for everyone to see.
Yeah.
So it's a different kind of art form. Where it's one of the only art forms where they see you push yourself up to the top. Yeah. Climb. Even painting, you know what I mean? You can draw fucking the same painting 100 times.
You do that shit, you can work on that stuff, and then, like, okay, then, like, when it's done, you show it to people. Where us, it's like, you gotta, like, be in, like, the lounges and these dive bars and, like, you know, all these fucking wild, you know, spots and, like, grind it out. And then you also gotta be like, all right, if I'm doing a bunch of comedy for people who are just, like, fucking smoking weed and not paying attention to me and talking to himself, it's like, if I can control this environment here, it is so much easier when you go to a show and it's packed with people and they're all there for comedy.
Have you been like to Accidental Chaos?
Yeah.
I call that the frat house of comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a bad term. It's just what it is. It's just they're rowdy. They're half drunk. Half of them are high.
That was like when I first moved here. What was the spot called? I think it was Marty's.
Marty's. I never been to that one.
Dude, that was like kind of what it was too. Where it was kind of this frat house thing where I was like, this is kind of cool. Where it's like it's all comics, but it is a thing of like if I can control this kind of thing, it's like, all right, I got something. I can go because. The whole thing where it's like you go to a show and there's only 6 people there, it's like it's harder to do good in front of like 6 people. You know what I mean? If there's 50 people and you actually have like jokes and stuff like that, chances are, dude, like a couple of those people are gonna find you funny and the laugh is gonna be contagious.
Yes.
You know what I mean? 6 people, it's like, well, hopefully these 6 people, like, you know, love this, like, joke about, like, my, you know, 100-year-old grandmother or something like that, or, like the shit with me and my wife or whatever. And, like, if not, then it's like you gotta get into the crowd and try to find it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, especially when you, like you said, is that Newberry bar? The show that guy was at, it's a dive bar, right?
Oh, yeah.
So most of the crowd there is there to drink and fuck around.
Yeah.
So they don't give a fuck about you. So you gotta, like, talk over them.
No.
Like, the dive bars are kind of where you have to, like, cut your teeth.
Yeah.
Because if you can get those motherfuckers to pay attention to you, you can get a whole room of motherfuckers.
Oh, dude, I got, I mean, that's why I love, like, when I was down south, it was like, this guy booked me, and he was like, hey, man, like, I need you to, like, work clean, which kind of sucked, but it made me kind of work that muscle out, but, like, it was a room full of, like, I did, like, you know, all these, like what were they? They were, for like veterans and stuff like that, all those rooms, all these dive bars and stuff like that, and he wanted me to be clean, but the headliners were always like dirty, so I kind of didn't get that, but I was like, all right, and then like you're just like, all right, if I can kind of control this, like, and not curse, it's like, all right, that I can kind of do that. And then the other thing is like when he would send me like these rooms where he's like, listen, man, this is like, you can kind of say whatever you want, like, don't even worry about it. It's like, okay, so that the restraints are off me, number one. Number two, it's like this crowd is like, it's not even like they're heckling, they're yelling at each other. You know what I mean? And like you just start fucking with them, and then you get they're like, oh, this guy's actually funny. Well, listen to his bits. Because there's other comics too where you're just like, they have their material, and once they like lose their spot in their set, they cannot get it back, dude. It's like if you can't get into the crowd a little bit and then go back into your material, like, that is like the whole thing you gotta really
I've seen a lot of comics, especially young comics, once they get off like the mark or their pace, they're like, fuck. And it is something hard because I've struggled. We've all been there where we just blanked. What are some things that you wish you had learned beforehand when you were coming up? What are things that you would have told yourself in the beginning?
Man, shit. If I knew what I knew now, I think the biggest thing is this, like, when I first started doing comedy, I'm not the same person I was right now, so anything I was talking about, it was relatable for me. I think that always trying to keep that thing where, like, never pander to the crowd, never, like, be more yourself. Like, I got really good advice where it was like, if you go up there with confidence, even if you're not funny, the crowd will still follow you. And I think, which is harder to say now, because when you first start, you're nervous, you're you know, all this stuff. And then for me, like, I'm dyslexic, so like reading off paper, I never kind of had that back thing of like, oh, I have to really memorize this stuff. Like, if I start looking and trying to read, I'm gonna panic even more.
Yes.
So like for me, it was more like, okay, just remember. But like if I can go back, it's like just be more confident up there, which honestly doesn't happen until you do it 100 times. You know what I mean?
I feel the same way because I think you missed my bit, but I'm also dyslexic too.
Yeah.
So one of my things is like it's hard for me just to sit there and read and shit because my eyes just jump around.
Right. Yeah.
And I didn't really understand what it meant to be dyslexia until my senior year when one of my coaches, wrestling coach, national champion wrestling coach in college.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So
what college you go to?
Couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Oh my god,
I forget. It was somewhere in like the Midwest.
Oh, okay.
That's all I know. But he was dyslexic too, and he's like, being dyslexic is like I'll read Jack and Jill go up the hill. I'll read every letter, but I won't comprehend it, and then out of nowhere, Jack and Jill are fighting a dragon.
Right.
It's like, wait, how the fuck did we get there from the hill to the dragon? You know what I mean? It's like I don't comprehend words, and it's very interesting being dyslexic and having to try to like memorize things, especially like what you were saying, like being a commercial actor. Like being an actor, you have to like say what's on the page, and if you deviate a little bit, because I have a tendency to add and take out words or change words. Yeah. In college, they used to call me the thesaurus. Yeah. I forget words, but I remember what I'm trying to say.
But that's like your mind, like that's why they say because your mind's kind of working like overtime with that, you know, because like same type of thing, dude. Like you're like, okay, I know it's supposed to, like I know A, B, I know C's coming next, but I don't know what C means. So I'm gonna you know, say something that's like in the same wheelhouse, even if it's not the right word. Like, like it kind of makes your comprehension a little bit better because like I would do this thing where like I think I was in 3rd grade. You had to write like a story. There's like they put a picture up, write a story about the picture, and then you read the story to like the class, or whatever. I would make up the story on the spot when I was in front of the class because I could never read what I wrote. So like
true performer,
right? So like and like that's like the whole thing of like I would do that, and like teacher would be like, that was really good, but you wrote something completely different here. And it's like, and it's like bits and pieces, but like, kind of like you said, you're like, all right, like I'm reading this and I know like Jack and Jill something, so I'll create the ending over here. And it'll flow, it'll be a thing. Like it won't be like I'm, no one will understand it, but it's not the right thing. It's not what's on the paper.
Yeah, I get that. Because it's hard, man. I can't, did you, when you were acting and trying to become an actor, did you feel like that was, obstacle that you had to come over?
No, I don't think that was an obstacle. I think the biggest obstacle is that is like, and it is acting. So it's like I hate the thing of like, like doing comedy versus acting. It's like you can be yourself and do that stuff. When you're acting and you're doing stuff that's like commercials and stuff like that, it's like there's nothing really creative there. And like all right, I'm just trying to do this just to grab a paycheck. And it's like, well, you know what? If I put more time into doing stand-up, I get more enjoyment out of it, number one. And number two, I can be myself. So it's like acting for me was just like, it just wasn't something I was like, okay, I want to start pursuing this. I didn't have the same love and passion as I do for like stand-up.
I get that. Like I said, I keep comparing comedy to football because it's my background. But it's also because like when you play other sports besides football, like when you play basketball or you run track, it helps you better at football. I feel like when you do acting and you do improv, like acting, what I feel it helps you with is doing better like stage presence and better like cadence. Like I feel like actors I feel like whenever I see a new comic who was an actor beforehand, the jokes may not be good, but the way that they're saying the jokes is
you
good.
can tell they have like this performance like about them. That's kind of the thing you were talking about, like climbing up the mountain. It's like you have to be able to like really like cut your teeth. That's why you see certain people who like blow up on social media. They have a huge following, but then when you see them do stand up, it's like that's okay.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I have a few people in my mind.
Yeah, right? but that's kind of the thing too. It's like if you're the build is this. The build is getting people in the room, seeing you and saying that guy's funny. I want to follow that guy on Instagram. I want to see the next time he has a show and stuff like that. And that's the thing. It's like you see people like all these comics who are coming up. It's like, oh wow, like when they were just featuring or when they were just opening for headliner. It's like. People be like, that guy's just as funny. That guy's hilarious. I want to follow that dude and see it. And then you build your audience. And the other thing about that too is like, you're building an audience that thinks you're funny. That thinks your humor's good. Like they're paying to see you because like they love what you talk about and like your cadence, how you do it. Like that's why it's like, okay, if I blow up here, I have all these followers. People think I'm funny on TikTok, and then they go and see me, and they're like, that's he's funny on TikTok, but he's not really funny as a stand-up. And then those tickets are just gonna start like dropping.
I feel like that. Well, for instance, like the whole Matt Rife situation.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. A few weeks ago, my mom sent me a picture of just him and says, "I want to go see him."
Yeah.
It's a picture of Matt Rife. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. But that's the other thing too, man. He found the algorithm. He got the thing, and like that it's great to see a comic like blow up like that. It is awesome to see that. But and he is funny, but the thing too, it's like you have so many people where it's like, all right, eventually it's gonna be like you want and if 100 million people like if he's selling out stadiums and arenas and shit like that, that's fucking badass.
Yeah.
But like that's the thing, dude. Like you want the people that like, oh wow, I want to go see this guy. This guy's fucking hilarious. Because now you're seeing everyone like he's blown up, and now everyone's like freaking out about his jokes and shit like that. Or like was like domestic violence, I think he said or some shit like that. But it's like you're not gonna see that from another comic who has less followers but still sells out clubs and theaters and stuff like that, because all those people are there for them. Because
like the whole social media thing, like him figuring out the algorithm, most of his shit that's on like TikTok and the algorithm, it's mainly just crowd work. And he's even admitted it, which is different. Like there's not like even like there's other comics I won't say, but they also do like more crowd work and their stuff, and that's what they're trying to do, but they don't really put out their material.
Yeah, it's also like the crowd work thing I got because I was like, yeah, you want to put out shit you don't want to burn your material, but at the same time, it's like people just like they're a content heavy. Was like, I gotta put a clip out, So like the fucking crowd work is like, hey, how's everyone doing tonight? And people are like, great, and they're like, crowd work. You know what I mean? You're just like, the fuck was that? There's like nothing there.
I have like when it comes to crowd work, I call it you give them the sword or you give them the dagger, and you have to stab them with the dagger before they stab you.
Oh yeah, when you're doing that, I mean. Yeah, that's like a good. I feel like crowd work is always good when you mix it in with your material. That's like the best thing because then the audience it just looks like you're riffing. You know what I mean? And like that's the appeal to it. That's like the real art is like you look like you're not even trying up there. You know what I mean? And then when you can do crowd work and blend it with your material, it's like that's the thing. If you're just up there doing just crowd work, you got to be able to do it for a good period of time. Like Big J is like one of the best people to do crowd work. He did just a crowd work special, which is like fucking hilarious. Like I think who else did one? Like Todd Barry, like all like those dudes.
Steve-O did one too, didn't he?
Just crowd work, did he?
Well, he did a whole. He has like 3 comedy specials. I haven't seen them. I just seen clips of them. Yeah. And one of them, he's just talking to the crowd, telling stories, and then just going through a whole like PowerPoint presentation. Yeah. And he's doing all but physical comedy.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's interesting.
Oh yeah. He was doing all the video. Yeah, because he was doing all the videos from him like putting stuff up his ass and shit like that. Right?
Yeah, which is always interesting.
Oh yeah, it's very physical.
I never got into Jackass.
I thought you were about to say I never gotten to put anything up my ass.
That too. So like there's so many just different types of comedy. Like I love loose comedy. Like that's one of my favorite types. But like Jackass just wasn't my thing.
Wasn't your thing?
No.
When I was a kid, I loved Jackass, watching people get hurt and shit like that.
You fit the demographic.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Jackass. But then I think there were so many like copycats and stuff like that too, of like people trying to do that in skits and stuff like that.
That was like the beginning of YouTube and all that like prank shit.
Yeah.
And it's so different now. Like prank videos aren't even part of YouTube anymore.
Dude, yeah, it was that, and then what was the other ones? Like the Pain Olympics or like all those like
Olympics.
They were all like these fucked up videos. That was like when the internet was like the Wild West, fucking LimeWire and shit.
I love LimeWire. When you just used to give your laptop AIDS and shit.
Very much like, oh fuck, I downloaded MILF Hunter, but it was a fucking virus.
I used to love about it is I'd go through every single song because they would always all have fucked up titles.
Yeah.
And I'd try and do my best to like do it. And honestly, I had like at least over 1,000 songs on there.
Yeah.
I didn't give a fuck. That's when I first like heard like all the weird shit. You know what I mean? Just shit that she was like, what the fuck is this? Like people would put like that's how Soulja Boy got famous.
Yeah.
He would upload his shit under like 50 Cent and Nas.
Oh, really?
And then they would download it, and then his shit would come on.
Oh, that's so funny, dude. Because I do remember like that stuff with like leaked 50 Cent or like leaked Eminem or something like that, and you put it on, and you're like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
It's like it was never them. Yeah.
No. So that shit was wild. And then I remember what else was I gonna say about the internet? Oh yeah, the bum fights.
The bum fights. Yeah, dude. I remember bum fights.
That shit was fucking.
Did you ever see the video where the guy Dr. Phil interviews the dude? That's the funniest shit. And then they show the thing, and then comes out and he's dressed as Dr. Phil. He's like, what the fuck? And he's like, you're a clown, man.
Yeah.
He's like, what do you do? What do you do? You exploit people too.
Yeah, he does. He's not wrong.
It was pretty fucking good, man.
It's kind of like what was that? The guy who owns Barstool Sports.
Oh, Dave Portnoy?
Dave Portnoy.
Yeah.
How he fucking like keeps flaming on the NFL commissioner Goodell.
Oh, dude, when he was doing all that shit, that was so goddamn funny.
And then he paid like hundreds of thousands of dollars to be in like a meeting with Goodell. Yeah. And as soon as Goodell found it was him, he canceled the whole thing.
The meeting. And then I think he was like banned from the Super Bowl or some shit. Because I think he wore like disguise or something like that. And then he got kicked out. He's funny as shit because he's also a dude who just kind of doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But also just that whole like genre of like you grow up watching like ESPN and shit like that, and it's like, you know, it's kind of boring. You know what I mean? Like I love, and like you watch it just that, and then when you see somebody like that, like all those like podcasts about football where it's like, and like Pat McAfee, it's like I love that. Like there you go, you can like talk about it like the way you talk about it with your friends and shit like that, and it's like it's hilarious, and it's like
I follow like Tom Grossi, fucking what's his name? That's Good Sports and all that. Like I love those ones better than watching like ESPN and shit.
Yeah, and that's the thing, dude. They can't really compete with that stuff anymore. You know, now they're getting into like gambling and shit like that, which is like that's what they kind of got to do.
I mean, a lot of even YouTubers now are even doing that. I mean, because the whole DraftKings and all that.
Yeah.
I'm not really a big fan of this whole like they just keep forcing this whole monopoly of us trying to like just bet on everything.
Oh, dude, it is kind of it like you can tell it's gonna like come back once it's like somebody does a documentary of like, hey, this is how many people have lost their fucking homes and mortgages and wives and stuff like that from like sports betting.
Yeah, it was like how much like was it like DraftKings and like just like draft.
And they're like, here are the odds, bet right now, and like
parlays,
hockey and stuff like that. They're like, oh, like second period's about to start. Like if you want to jump in right now, this is like what the spread is. Or the Devil's gonna get a goal like this thing. And you're
just
like,
just so like especially like the parlays and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Then you got to get like a field goal here, a touchdown there, and then a sack over here on 3 different games going on at the same time. And then if that doesn't happen, if one of those doesn't happen, you lose. Or if it doesn't happen in the right way, you lose.
It's so fucked up, yet I do it every Sunday.
I can't figure it out. It's just too much for me.
I'll do it all the time because like not all the time, but like.
Are you up or down right now?
My up or down. I'm kind of even. I just won. What did I bet? I bet Houston to win, and I bet not this week. This week they got the shake it down. I bet for Houston, KC, and Detroit in the first playoffs. So I was up $400, and then I didn't bet anything this week.
Okay,
thank God. Dude. Well, you know what I'll do is I'll put the bets like, okay, let's do this $50. Take a screenshot, and like I don't actually place the bet, and then I just watch like. Oh yeah, I would have lost every fucking one of these games. Like this week, I would have lost every. I bet on Buffalo. I would have bet on Buffalo. I would have bet on Green Bay. And yeah, that would have
been a sucker bet.
I would have fucked up.
That would have been a sucker bet.
I thought Green Bay was gonna pull it off. Did you watch that game?
No, I was working. I was working that day because I work those days. But no, it was I know it was actually because it was Sunday. I was at a mic. I was at a Sleep with Sam Howard mic.
Oh, yeah?
Have you done that one?
No, I don't think
it's
so.
pretty chill. It's the Sleep with Sam Howard fundraiser at the Jack's Comedy Castle. She runs it out of her apartment.
Yeah.
And so what it is half fundraiser, half mic. You go in there. You don't have to really pay, but it's like donations. Like she asks for money. She runs it out of her apartment in North Hollywood. It's pretty chill. It's like really cool. It's her word. The only comedy club with a bouncy house in it, or a trampoline in it.
Oh, trampoline in it.
So you do your set on a trampoline.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Okay.
That shit. It's because it's fun because you see some people that are like, I'm not gonna try and risk it, and some people that just bouncing the entire set.
Some people are like, I'm gonna tear my ACL right here. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a fun little mic.
Yeah.
All right. So what other things like places do you like to go and perform? Like what are good venues that you like to support? Like I like to say this. Fuck Chateau. Fuck Felix. You can tell. I tell everyone on this show. It's like I do not support Felix whatsoever, but I do like ha-has. I like Tao Comedy.
Ha-has, yeah.
I stopped going to like the Bringer ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I try not to do any Bringer ones. I went to Deaf Noodle recently. Third Wheel's got great mics. The Barclays got Ruben and Vance. Like they put on like good shows and stuff like that. I mean, you can go up there. It's a free mic, and then like you get crowd in there. You know what I mean? Like last week we did it. It was like packed.
Yes.
It was like awesome. Like that's the best type to do it because then you're like, oh wow, I can like do my material. I can do new stuff. Like like you could. The other thing too is like you want to find somewhere where it's like you can get a room where it's like, hey, I can run like the stuff I've been doing. That if I have a show I'm gonna do, and you don't want to do that 100 times in front of the same comedians, But
because it's hard because like I used to always say like Hollywood comedy. Did you ever go to the Pasadena comedy?
Yeah, I went to Pasadena comedy.
I love Pasadena comedy more than the Hollywood comedy.
Yeah.
Even though they were both owned by Jiang Summers.
Yeah.
I'm so sad when the Pasadena shut down.
I know. So was I, dude.
Yeah.
That was like gonna be my spot too. I think I met Bert there for like the first time.
I think I met Bert before then.
Yeah.
But I've known Bert for a while because I started comedy in college. And then when I moved back here after college, I stopped doing it. And then COVID happened. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it again.
I fucking, right before COVID too, I stopped for a while because I was working so much. And I was working on set. I was PA and I was like doing like first AD stuff and like production supervisor, which sounds cool, but you're working the same fucking hours.
Yeah.
And like, for like a little bit more money. You know
Just
what I mean?
There's like $2 more.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? They give you a sandwich. But that's like, that's pretty much it. I mean, like, stand up though for me it's like around here, like I feel like I've been here for 7 years and this is probably the first year that I found like, oh wow, I have like an actual flow. Like I feel like I moved here right when Trump got elected, so fucking I would do like Lyric Hyperion and people are just like freaking out.
Yeah,
where you're just
lyrics not like that.
You're like, dude, I get it, but like wasn't the whole thing like, hey, if Trump gets elected, at least we're gonna have all this fucking material?
Yeah.
And it's like people are just crying and cursing and just getting pissed off, and it's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, we can all write something funny, man. I mean, can we not do that?
Yeah, that's the stupid part about Trump when he got elected. Everyone got so butthurt and so their ass so tight about it. Like, it's like you couldn't make a joke about it and without people just like, oh, you supporting him? It's I'm not really supporting him. I'm just trying to make a joke about. Same thing with like Joe Biden.
But that's everything you do with stand up. You're like, people are like, oh man, is that really what you think? And you're like, no, it's a joke, man. Are you kidding me? And then the other part of it too is just like. People come up and be like, hey, I didn't like that you said you said retard. And it's like, well, did you like the thing that I said about like, you know, fat people? Oh, that was hilarious. It's like, so whatever pertains to you, whatever thing is like, oh, I find that offensive, but the other people, I don't really know anybody like that. I think that's kind of funny. So it's like you're picking and choosing what's funny because somebody else is gonna say the same thing. Thought the retard thing was hilarious, but fat people stuff, you gotta lay off that. It's a problem.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, well, what are you talking about?
I've had that. Well, I had one girl was like, "Oh, you can't say retarded." It's like, "Bitch, I'm technically classified retarded. Shut the fuck up."
That is a good response.
Yeah, it's like I'm classified. I was in school classified retarded. Like, I can say it. I was classified, and my class classified me as it.
I do have to ask the question because you did bring this up, and I've never done the Comedy Chateau, but I've heard so many people say like, "Fuck that guy Felix," and fuck him, and fuck the Comedy Chateau. Mm-hmm. What is his deal?
It's just how he treats people, especially female comics. Like he's like creepy and predator.
He's like a
you know what I mean?
Vibe,
yeah, like he dresses like a fucking child.
Yeah.
He dresses like a toddler, man. He's and he goes up there, and I know like Dave Peoples come on here and said this. He said he's banned from Chateau because he's a better musical comic than Felix. Felix blacklisted him because he's a good comic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just like, hold on. This dude brings in people. He's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
He's and that's why you don't see a lot of musical comics in Chateau because he doesn't like people better than him.
Oh, and that's what he does. That's his thing. He does musical comedy.
Mm-hmm. And he like berates comics and shit.
Oh, really?
He's horrible to his staff. I mean, if you go to the Chateau every 3 months, there's a whole new staff.
No shit, dude.
Mm-hmm. And you could tell if a place is good if they keep their employees. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you go to
people right,
if you go to the club and you go there for 3 months, you see the same person, and then next week they're gone. You're like, what happened with Casey? You know what I mean? You're like, yeah. And then you hit up Casey and you're like, oh yeah, things just weren't working out. And like, you hear things about like the way he treats comics. He'll belittle. He's kicked people off shows.
That's so funny.
You know what I mean?
Just because he just didn't like him?
Didn't like him. And he also like the bringer shit. Like if it was 5 bringer and you only brought 4, he'll kick you off.
Get the fuck. Oh wow, so he's like a real fuck like that.
Yeah, even if you bring like 3, you know what I mean? Like some places they're like, oh, it's a 5-person bringer, but if you can bring 2, you're in. Whatever.
Yeah, they'll be like, hey, we'll throw you a blast or something like that. But yeah, it's like you already brought people out. I mean, come on, you know? Yeah,
so it's just one of those things with him. It's just. And I've even had B Gutierrez. She's even said like, fuck him. It's the first day that he's out, I'm in. Yeah. Like she said the first day he's gone, I'm throwing a comedy show there saying fuck Felix.
Yeah, there you go, man. But
like even like I'm kind of tempted. hesitant to go to the ice house even.
Yeah.
Because from what I've been hearing, how they treat comics, like they're not really into comedy. The bus, it's owned by the Bus family now.
Yeah.
And it's like they're not really like comedy lovers. They just see it as more of like another revenue chain place to make revenue.
Well, dude, I hope they do something like Mike's or something, because that is a cool room. Like I would I hope they do something where they let people kind of run shows in there, like, you know, like give people like who are running shows at like bars and stuff like that, who bring out a shitload of people. Like, hey man, see what they're doing like at like a bar that's just got an extra room in it. Like they could pack it out. You know what I mean? Do it on a weekday or something like that, or like get a mic going and then just. I mean, that's really if you see some of these like comedy clubs that are in like, you know, Nashville, these smaller towns, stuff like that. There's like a whole thing. Like even when I was saying I was in South Carolina, it's like they pretty much made their own comedy club, and it's like all of them would get like a road dog or a big name comic. Like Doug Stanhope came through there, and like it's like like we'll open for them and like do that and pack it out and all that stuff. And it's like let those comics like be like your features or like your openers or your hosts and stuff like that. Like let the local talent like grow there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I think is the best thing for a club to do. You know, and then have open mic nights where it's like, all right, you have open mic. Even if you charge open mic, it's fine as long as like you're like, hey, we're like looking at you for spots. Yeah. That's what I think is like fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's the other one? It's not Laugh Factory. It's Improv. The Improv. Like they have that bucket mic. That they do. That's another thing I don't like to do it. They have the Tuesday bucket mic, right? That's when.
I think it's Wednesday or
Yeah,
Tuesday, Wednesday,
Yeah, I forget when it is, and that's like their whole way of cultivating like people to get there. But the thing I hate about it is it's a bucket mic.
Yeah, I know.
And it's just like
the bucket mics suck, dude.
It's just, especially, I'm not sure if you ever did Baca's, but his was, I always caught his comedy roulette. You're like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope. And then like fucking 30 people go up and he's like, oh, you're up next. And I was like, fuck, man, I'm just exhausted. I got work tomorrow.
Dude, that one sucks. Doing the buckets like suck because it packs out. They read the name off who's on deck. Everyone fucking leaves. So it's like, all right, so I'm waiting around to go on stage to do 5 people who don't even care. Yeah. So it's like, how am I like, you know, how do you build anything like
that? Once they go up, half of them leave right away.
I think honestly, and this is like from a lot of people in Jersey too, it's like so many of these comics that I know have put together their own shows, whether it's like Asbury Park, Jersey City, stuff like that. And like that's the best thing to do because then you're pumping it out with people. Like you have to do all the stuff, get the crowd. Like if you're not lazy and you're able to do that, it's like, and you can find a room that'll work with you. Yeah. You can do that. You can get a couple sponsors. Get like a dispensary or some shit to sponsor. You know what I mean? Like 10% and like come in our dispensary or some shit like that. Like you'll get something like that and then like just film it and then just fucking blast all over the place. But then the other part of that is like now you can do your material in front of an audience. You know what I mean? Like that's the whole thing.
Have you ever produced a show?
I did. I was lucky enough to kind of jump on my friend's show and co-host with him before I moved out here at the Saint. It was called Hags, Have a Good Summer. That's like what he named it. But like he really did the whole, like he found the venue, he did all the stuff, and then I co-hosted with him, and it was sick, man. It was awesome, like when we were doing that. Like, because then you're like, all right, I have something to look forward to always get like a crowd going. You get a little money in your pocket, you know what I mean? Which is like, what else you kind of want, you know what I mean? Like if you're starting out.
Yeah. I used to, actually, funny story, I used to date a comic before I became a comic.
Oh, yeah?
And so we were at, it was Flappers one time. Yeah. And it was before I, like, got back into comedy. Yeah. And this one dude, you know, one of those guys is like, I'm not sure if I could keep doing it. I haven't really made any money.
Yeah. One of those guys just holding on.
Yeah, and she's made some money, and dude's like, has anyone here made money? And she was like, yeah, I have it. And she's like, how much? She's like, fuck you, I ain't gotta tell you shit. And he's like, fair enough. Yeah. Because she made a little bit of money, nothing crazy, but she made some money. And it's fun making money doing comedy.
I mean, that's the whole goal of it, dude. That's why I love like going down south, like because they're like, hey, here's a bar, like throw us like, you know, I'll bring down like 4 comics, throw us like $500 or something like that, like put some type of thing together, and like you go down there and it's like, hey, there's like 3 bars in this whole town, like there's a comedy show, they're all gonna go. Yeah. You know, so it's like if you're willing to do the drive, you're willing to do that stuff, you know, pack the car with like your buddies and go and do it. Like that was really cool because you see all these people where you're like, oh man, this guy's fucking hilarious, and this guy's like, I just do the Southeast, man. Yeah. That's all I do. I got a family and kids. I'm on the road doing this shit and like, you know, making a couple $100 like here and there and stuff like that. It's also cheaper to live, but like, you know, it's awesome, dude. Like that's like I like love doing that stuff.
Because I find that a lot of comics here, is they don't leave the LA bubble.
No.
They don't go to Orange County.
Yeah.
They don't go to Riverside. They don't go to Lancaster.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, it's too far.
I think that is the worst shit for a comic to ever be like, oh, I can't go, man. It's too far.
Yeah.
I can't. Or it's like, hey, like, what the fuck? Like, what else you got going on?
Mm-hmm.
If you have something else that's going on that you're, it's like your work or something like that. But if you're like, oh, I don't feel like driving, it's like, what the fuck else you can do? Like, don't complain about the spots you're getting or what you're doing because that was the whole thing with me. Like New York's the same way. Like there's comics that they get stuck in the wheelhouse of just doing the same open mics or same little shows or something like that, and they go, I don't want to branch out.
Yeah.
And like for me, that's like a thing of like laziness or fear. Because it's like, you have to be able to be like, hey, I'm going to go in front of a crowd. I have no idea what this room is or whatever. And, like, you have to run your shit through the mud, I feel like. Because, like, that is the only way you get good.
Yeah, because I love going to San Diego to do open mics.
Yeah.
I like going to Long Beach to do open mics.
Yeah.
I mean, the only place I don't go is East.
Yeah.
I don't go to, the reason why is because, like, you know, ones they have out there is, like, Chatterbox. And the only thing I don't like about it is that it's a 3-minute mic.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just don't like 3-minute mics.
Yeah, 3 minutes is rough.
It's just, I've kind of gotten to the point where, like, I'd rather just do 5 or nothing less. Because, like, once you get to 3, I'm like, it's only like 2 jokes, which is good and bad, but
3. I feel like that's another thing too. It's like a muscle you can work of just like how much I can fit in 3 minutes. You know what I mean? So how much fat can I cut off like this joke? You know what I mean? So like that's what I try to do. Like anytime I'll get like a 3-minute spot, it's just like let me try to get this joke to like the setup punch as quick as I can without like forcing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel that because it is hard because like a lot of jokes, most of my jokes, as you know, being dyslexic, I always feel like I speak too much in my words. I put a lot of words because I feel like I don't make sense.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that. I guess you're all right. The 3 minutes does help you
cut that down,
cut that fat.
But that's the other thing too. Like that's why like you record yourself and you're just like, all right, I just said like a bunch of shit, like a bunch of setup, where it's like I don't need that much setup. You know what I mean? I can just fucking like kick it down to like this and this, and like that's it. You know what I mean? Like, I had a bit like that too, where it was like, oh, I had all this stuff, and the only line that worked in it, I was like, well, fuck all this other stuff. This line is the only thing that's funny. Let me just do that line. That kills, and then you just move on to your next thing. Yeah,
because it's hard. And being a father and being a husband, like, how does that like affect your comedy, and how does it affect like your opportunity to do things? Because you do have your obligations as a husband and a father.
I got no kids. So
oh, okay. You said you had you were married.
No kids. I'm married. I don't have kids.
Okay, that makes it easier.
Yeah. Not that I know about.
But you just said he was like, I have family and kids. And I was like, you just said that. And I was like, all right, fuck it.
No, like just I think I was talking about like those road comics.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But no, I have a wife, but like anybody that I've dated or anything like that, and like since I did comedy, it's like this is what I do. You know what I mean? If you can't get behind that, then we're not really gonna work. You know what I mean? My wife's whole thing when she was like, "Hey, like I'll be honest, like first time I saw you, if you weren't funny, we would." She's like, "I just can't support a fucking dream of just watch you fucking." It's like being a fighter. You just watch yourself get the shit kicked out of him like every single night. It's
every
like,
match.
Hang up the gloves, dude. You're just getting CTE.
Or if he's a poor musician.
Yeah.
Bad songs.
But like, I think the hardest thing too with relationships is like my wife is good at, because my wife understands like comedy. It's a lot of it is the hang. You know what I mean? A lot of it is like, hey, I gotta like go to the show and I gotta bullshit with these people and like, you know, we gotta like
network,
crack beers and smoke and then just network, you know. And she like completely gets that. So like she'll be like, hey, I'll come and like watch your show, and then like after she's like, I'm gonna bounce because all you guys are talking about fucking comedy. You know what I mean? Which is like the same thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like I think that's like the best thing you have. You date some people where they're just like, I'll hang with you all night, and they're just like bitching and moaning and dragging. Yeah. Like, listen, you gotta get the fuck out of here.
Right? Being on the other side of it, I was always just like, I'll just wait here. I'll just be the pretty face.
Right, yeah. Because you dated a comic, so yeah.
So I was just like, especially before, you know, I'll just make small talk, and I'll just sit there. It's like, this is her job.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
He's like, just try not to me. But I was at a show this weekend, and I saw this one female comic, and her boyfriend was there, and I could just see like it was a 9 o'clock show, so it was a late show.
Yeah.
I could just see like as it was over, he was just like, I want to leave.
I want to leave.
You could just see he was just done. And he was just like kind of tagging on her, like
time to go, yeah.
Yeah, he was like, he wasn't saying anything, but I could see like the little gestures he would do, like pull on her like her little cardigan and shit. I was just like, oh, this motherfucker's like, I want to.
He's like, I cannot hang right now.
No,
dude, that's like that is the one thing too. Like I like because my wife doesn't do stand up or anything like that. And like I love like being like, hey, like what did you think of like who do you think was the funniest comic? Like this, if I did new shit, like all that stuff, and get like an honest response. Because the worst thing ever for anybody is just being like, hey man, you did great, and you're just like, dude, I just bombed. Like what the fuck you talking about? Like please shoot me straight. What the fuck?
That is true. There's a lot of that. It's like I just say, all right, good job, man. I just say, good job.
Everyone does that stuff. Oh, great job, man. They're like, oh, okay. I think I did good.
I said good job. I didn't say that. Like, good job, partner. It's like a participation. It's like, you did your best.
Yeah, that's so.
I couldn't date a comic anymore. After dating a comic.
Yeah.
And like people was like, oh, you know, there's like, oh, why don't you date him? I was like, it's not worth the trouble.
I always wonder too, what's the dynamic too if you're dating a comic and like one is killing, the other one's like not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how does that fucking work?
Especially if you're on the same show.
Yeah, oh my god, dude, that would comic just like your girlfriend just bombs, then you kill, or vice versa.
Yeah,
that'd be rough. You just watch your girlfriend murder her fucking room, and you go up there and they are hating you.
Yeah, but it is what it is. Yeah. I mean, I just think it's just. I come from a family where my parents work together.
Oh, yeah.
And I just don't like that whole aspect and dynamic.
Is that a weird vibe?
It is a weird vibe. Yeah. Because when my parents, they when they're at work, it's work. When they're at home, it's work. When they're at dinner, it's work. So my whole life is always like works at the dinner table, works in the car, works even like, you know, as a comic, when you're going places, if you're not driving, you're writing shit down, or you're like, what do you think of this? And then you kind of like, especially when you're both comics, you're like, what do you think of this? And then, oh, okay, what do you think of this joke? Right. And in the back of my mind is like, it's not that I don't want to listen to her joke. It's just kind of like, I want to hear your response to my shit.
Yeah, you're more concentrated on your own stuff.
I want to concentrate on me. That's you.
I think the best thing too is like, there's so many comics that I talk to, and they're just like, yeah, I'm just like, I'm going to go out, and I'm not going to have any job, and I'm just going to focus on this. And it's like, what are you going to talk about? Like, what in your life are you going to, like, how are you going to draw from anything? You're going to talk about, like, waking up, like, sleeping till 12, or, like, you know, like, oh, I just fucking played video games all night. It's like, yeah, like, nobody else is doing that. You know what I mean? Like, you have to have something to draw from, you know? Like, whether you're working or whatever you're doing.
One comic she said is, you know, comedy is a night gig, so you can have a day gig, bitch.
Yeah. You know what I mean? That is the thing, because it's like you're essentially working for like an hour a night, you know? So it's like, what are you doing to kill the other time? Yeah. Like, how you're going to write? Who's sitting there and writing like that?
I think these people who they come out here and they live in the vans, or they like be homeless, and they got like, oh, I'm gonna make my dream no matter what.
They like romanticize that shit, where they're just like, yeah, man, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go through a bunch of shit, and you're like, yeah, but you're putting yourself purposely through shit, not like you have to. like it doesn't work that way. You know what I mean?
I was telling one of my friends from high school. I call her my telenovela, as I call her.
Yeah.
And I was telling her, actually last night I was talking to her, and I was like, you know what? The thing I love and hate about you is no matter what happens, you'll always have a really good time, and then a month or two later, you just shit hits the floor.
Yeah,
Because one time she just got this brand new like convertible car, really nice, and then she got locked up in prison, and then she got the car towed, and then it got sold off an auction.
Oh,
and then she had to ask her sister for help to co-sign for a new car.
Yeah. What?
That car just got totaled like 2 weeks ago, and now she's like trying to get a new car with insurance money.
Holy fuck.
And so so it's like with her, it's like something good is gonna happen, but I love to listen to you because I know something bad is gonna happen.
Yeah.
And it's not like she's going out of her way to go through that shit.
It just follows her kind of
thing.
It
just follows her.
What'd she go to jail for?
Warrant. She got for violating. Was it not paternity, but a
restraining order?
Restraining order.
Oh.
So she
a guy had a restraining order on her?
No, so her baby daddy's new girlfriend.
Nice.
And I'm just like, you know he's moved on. He's like, no, he's still mine. He's still mine. I was like, bitch, he's moved on. He already has another kid supposedly, but it's not his kid supposedly. Like his new girlfriend has.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, it's like she got pregnant, but it's not his kid.
Does he know it or? Oh yeah, we don't know. It is his kid?
Yeah.
Ah,
but he keeps trying to lie to her.
It's not my kid. Thing where he's like, this baby's nose. Look at this baby's nose.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's funnier. It's just like she's 30 and he's like 50. So he's like 20 years old. He actually has kids older than her. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, girl, you're just you fucking up. You fucking up. You're having a baby daddy who has kids older than you. That's just, I couldn't do that.
Older? Wait, say that again. Having kids that are older than you?
She had, or would you date a woman, or now that you're married?
But yeah, my wife's dead. Go on.
Your wife's dead. That she had kids, like you guys met when you're in 20s. Let's say back.
She's got kids that are older than me?
Yeah, who are in their 30s.
Oh, shit, can I take him in a fight? I mean, that's the big thing. Imagine your girlfriend's son beats the shit out of you. That'd be fucking tight, dude.
That'd be fucking crazy. I just like...
that would be wild.
And it's even funnier because she's friends with like his ex-wife, and so they talk shit about him all the time.
Oh my god, yeah, that's a nightmare.
I'm just like, y'all friends? And she's like, yeah, she's a nice person. I was like,
I was in college one time, and a girl that I was like kind of hooking up with, that like it faded out, and then my ex-girlfriend broke up, and like I was talking to her, and they both were there, and then you saw them talking together, and you're like, oh man, they are just fucking they are just making fun of my dick left and right now, dude.
I will say this, I think I'm lucky I've never had that experience where my exes met.
Your exes met?
No, none of my exes or my ex-girlfriend at the time met. I've never had that experience, luckily.
I've ran into that a couple times. That's not like a recent thing. The
only time that's something similar to that was when another comic friend invited me to be at his bringer show because he needed people. I was like, oh sure, I'll be there. And then my ex-comedy girlfriend was there, and he didn't tell me or her that either of us were going to be there. It's the first time we've seen each other since the breakup.
Yeah.
And so I get there early, and we're just talking blah blah blah, and then she comes over and she's like, she sees him, she's like, hey, and then she sees me. I tried standing up, but her eyes cut my knees from under me, and she was like, hey. And I was like, ooh.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, this is not good.
She's like, hey, check out this joke. Can you punch this up for me?
Yeah, no, but she was even funnier. She like sits down across from him and is like, why didn't you tell me he was going to be here? Like, I wasn't there. And I was like, ooh.
Ooh. Yeah, it's gonna be only four tonight, dude. You only got 4 people in, not 5.
It's like, I'm leaving.
What does she still do comedy?
She does comedy still. She's really good. I don't like to say her name because just
right.
No need to put it out there. I just say she's a really good comic. She's funny, and that's it. That's all we need to leave it as.
All right, there you go.
Because it was another thing about it. It's like, people have come up to me and it's like, oh, you used to date so and so, and I was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, why don't you talk about it? It's like, because I don't need to.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like, why put her shit out there?
Yeah.
If people really want to know who I dated, they could just go look it up. It's not that hard.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, that's probably the most mature way to do it. That is rough if you guys are in a bad breakup and you guys are just writing jokes about it and just going on stage.
And just I've seen that before.
Oof.
I said it's because I started out in Hawaii, so that's where I went to college.
Did you really?
Yeah, I went to the University of Hawaii.
Did you play football there?
No. Oh, I had 4 knee surgeries in high school.
Holy shit! From sports?
From funny enough, running in the rain during spring off season, and I tore my lateral meniscus.
Oh,
so
fuck, dude.
It was just a whole bunch of just compounding bullshit. Like the first doctor fucked me up. Second doctor, the first one was just a exploratory surgery. Second one, they had to drill holes into my knees because of my tibia and my femur meat. There was a hole here and a hole here, so you had to smooth it out and fill it with cartilage. Because otherwise, if it didn't fill, it could have cracked the bone in half.
Yeah.
So I had to do that. And then I couldn't put an ounce of pressure on my knee because if I did, it would scrap the whole surgery for 3 months. And then a year after that, the same knee re-tore. And I was just laughing.
Jesus Christ, man. The same thing? It was your meniscus?
It was meniscus all 4 times. It was funny, though. Because it's just like...
How are you now?
I'm fine. I can move it, bend it.
Do you work out and stuff? Can you run and stuff? Or?
Well, I don't do it as much as I should, but I can. You know what I mean? I probably should work out more and do a lot more stuff, but I'm like... Fuck it. Like, everyone's like, because I work in the house, I have my bachelor's in kinesiology, I work as a massage therapist, and so, like, everyone's like, oh, live healthy. I'm just like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Die of a heart attack at 45.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just live life however you want to, and just, like, not worry about all this bullshit.
Yeah, I not worry about shit, but I, do some shit to prevent it. You know what I mean? I mean, you're like, hey, man, if you're going to chain smoke cigs, it's like, well, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The only thing I try to do is just masturbate enough so that way, I don't get prostate cancer.
Oh, exactly. yeah, that's the one.
Because there's a study out there that came out like 10 years ago saying, men who masturbate more are less likely to have prostate cancer.
Yeah, that was from people who made fleshlights. That's where the study came from.
All these studies. Well, we've been here for almost. I can't even see what's. An hour and 18 minutes. There you go.
Hour 18, cool.
Yeah, but do you have anything coming up that you like to promote? It's going to be out in a week because I just got to do all the editing.
No, I'm gonna be on the East Coast. I'm gonna try to plug get on some shows there.
Yes.
You can follow me, Joey Massaro Comedy on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably be at the Barclay Open Mic and Showcase whenever another one comes up. That's about what I got going on.
Do you have no X, YouTubers, anything like that?
I think on X I really don't tweet a lot. So yeah, all my dates, anything like that, you can find me Joey Massaro Comedy on Instagram.
So just Instagram. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Peace, man.
Thank you for coming out.
Dude, awesome.
Take care, guys. Peace.
Awesome.